Hello, guys. Good morning. I hope you all are doing well. So, in today's session, we are going to discuss about some important terminologies which we are most frequently using in IT asset management. The first term which we are using most frequently is software publisher. So, what is software publisher? Software publisher is going to be the godfather of software. A reason being, software publisher is the one who develops the software based on the requirement those are coming from end user or their customer. So basically software is going to help different customers to solve their business problems, and publisher is targeting those problems, and they are developing the software based on the customer's need. So whole and sole owner of the software is going to be the software publisher. The second important term is going to be the software license. So what is software license? So software license is nothing but the legal authority which is held by software publisher and has been granted to end user or the customer who has bought that software. If any customer is claiming that they have a software license, it is indicating that that customer or that end user is going to be legal user or legally authorized entity who can use that software by following some certain terms and condition those has been set by software publisher. You bought the software, it doesn't mean that you are become the owner of the software. You just got and right to use that software. So we got legal authority to use that software. The next term is what is software deployment or what is software installation. In order to get the software installed on end user's machine, that software needs to be deployed or pushed onto the end user's machine. Ideally, this job is getting done with the help of service desk team or IT support team. Software deployment and software installation is going to be the same. Unless and until we install the software application on end user's machine, they will not be able to use that software. They will not be able to work on the business requirement. And if we fail to install the software, if you didn't get the software installed on your machine, then you will fail to achieve the business requirement, and definitely it is going to impact on the business of your organization. So that's why installing software on end user's machine on time is really very important task which is getting done with the help of IT asset management team. What is software uninstallation? Software uninstallation is nothing but removing the installed software from end user's machine. Whenever we done with the usage and there is no need of software, in that situation we may get that software uninstalled and we can use the same software for another user. That is called as software reharvesting. So in order to do the reharvesting, software uninstallation is very important. And most of the customer fail to get the software uninstalled from the X user, and without uninstalling, they used to grant authority or allocate that license to the Y, and that is going to be the audit risk, and they have to face a lot when it comes to the audit. So keep in mind, before transfer any software to another user, we have to get that software uninstalled from the first user for which we have done the allocation, and after that only we can install it for the another user. Next term is software license metrics. Software license metrics is very important aspect of the term in software asset management, because this fundamental is going to help us to understand the software usage, the way we can buy the software, we can measure the usage of software, and based on that we can decide how much we have to pay to the vendor or the publisher, how many quantities we are going to use. So usage measurement is going to tracked with the help of software license metrics. We will discuss different metrics in upcoming sessions, but for now just keep in mind software license metrics is helping us to understand the usage of software. The next term is software reseller. The software reseller is a kind of bridge in between the software publisher and the end user or the customer who needs software. Every time we cannot directly reach out to the publisher or the owner and buy the software from them. In that situation, sometime we have to buy the software or procure software with the help of reseller like SHI. You have to pay to the reseller and you will get the software. You have to collect the purchase proof and you can start using the software by purchasing it from the reseller. Then we have software product description. Be it hardware or software, each and every asset have some detailed information that is called a description. If we talk about hardware asset like laptop, desktop and server, whenever we are buying hardware asset, we have to collect the information like the type of asset which you have purchased, the name of the vendor from whom we have bought the hardware. We should know the number of quantities which we have purchased. We also have to track the warranty details, and we have to keep the purchase proof handy with us because that is going to be the one of the evidence for us for the purchase of the asset. When it comes to the software, we have to collect the information like software name or the title of software which we have purchased. We should know the number of quantities we have purchased. We should have information about the software license metrics, the way we can use that software. We also know under which agreements or contracts we have bought this software license. We should know the license model, if the purchase software is perpetual or non-perpetual. Also, we have to keep a track about the software user or the software allocation to whom we are going to grant the rights to use that software. So these are the few basic details which we have to capture in order to collect the information about the asset which we have onboarded. So next to that, we have software maintenance and assurance. The software maintenance and assurance is helping us to understand the service level which we have received from the vendor or the publisher. With the help of software assurance and maintenance, we can upgrade, downgrade. We can do the cross edition, cross platform based on the need. If we don't have active maintenance and assurance, you won't be able to upgrade your software. You cannot expect the support from the publisher. So that's the importance of software assurance and maintenance. The software agreement. Software agreement is nothing but the bonding, or I will say the mutually agreement in between two different parties where both the parties are agreed on some certain terms and conditions. By accepting these terms and condition, they have to obey the terms and condition. There will, like, you will find some do's and don't under the software license agreement. It will talk about the security risk. It will talk about the usage rights. It may talk about the duration of your software contracts and agreement, your agreement start date, your agreement end date. your renewal terms. So there are a lot of information which is available in software agreements, which needs to be accepted by publisher as well as the customer. Along with that, we will try to understand different usage right or the software usage right. Here we have the software upgrade right, software downgrade right. So software upgrade right is talking about upgrading your software from old version to new version. Let's take an example. If we are using Windows 7 and due to the change in your organization, we have to move to the Windows 10. So it is indicating that you are moving from old version to new version, and that is called as software upgrade right. What about software downgrade? So software downgrade is talking about moving down from latest version to old version. If you take same example in reverse order, if you are already using Windows 10 and because of some reason you want to move back to the Windows 7, it means that you want to downgrade your software. So moving down from latest version to old version is your software downgrade right. We also have cross edition route. So as we know, there are a lot of editions available in the market. Different publisher is having their own editions. But we will take some hypothetical scenario where we know the home basic edition, then we are aware about the standard edition, we know the professional edition, and we also know the enterprise edition. So if you are using home basic and you want to move to the standard, so what exactly you are expecting? You want to move from one edition to the another edition, from home basic to standard, or standard to professional, or professional to enterprise. So if someone would like to move from one software edition to the another software edition, so that is going to be the cross edition right. So how editions are differ? Let's say your basic edition might have some minimal functions. Your standard may have some additional functions which is not available in basic. Professional is having some additional functions. Those are not available in basic as well as standard. And finally, enterprise includes all the functions which we have in basic, standard, and professional. And on top of that, they might have some extra functions. Those are not available in three of them. So that is about the editions. Now next we have the EULA, End User License Agreement. You will always find the EULA at the time of installation of software. We have to accept some terms and conditions. While installing the software, we have to double click on the executable file, that is .exe. Then we have to click on next, and then we have to click on some check mark or check bar where we have to accept some terms and conditions, and that is called as EULA. This terms and condition is called as EULA. EULA is nothing but your end user license agreement. That EULA is helping us to understand how can we use that software. What are the important do's and don'ts has been written under the EULA. Next term which we have, OEM license. So what is OEM? OEM is the original equipment manufacturer. So OEM software is kind of software which lives and dies with hardware. So basically these are the machine based softwares which comes with hardware and dies with hardware. That's why we are calling it out as a machine based software. Those are attached to the machine. So life of OEM software will always depend on the life of hardware. We cannot transfer OEM software from one machine to the another machine. If your hardware crashed, then your life of your OEM software will be off, or it will get expired. So next we have the operating system. What is operating system? It's kind of system software. Without operating system, there is no value to your laptop. Doesn't matter from which brand you have purchased it, even it's Mac. If we don't have operating system on your MacBook, then there is no value how much you have spent to buy that software. So operating system is playing very important role in order to get your softwares or the application software installed on your machine and use your laptop. So what is EOL software or end of life software? So end of life software is one of the category where publishers has announced that they are no longer going to support to these softwares. Even they are perpetual, user can use this software on their own risk, but we cannot expect support from the publisher like Microsoft, Adobe, Oracle, VMware. So these are the top publishers. We have hundreds of publishers, but I just called out name of few publishers. If they declare any product end of life, it is indicating that the support from vendor is over for that product. We have to use this on our own risk. And I will highly recommend, if any publisher announce any software end of life, don't use that software, because there will be very high security risk, and if you got an attack, you will have to pay a lot for the same. So request you to don't go with the softwares those are already announced by publisher as end of life. Now we will try to understand the infra of our organization. There is something called as data center, cluster, server, processor, and core. So data center is one of the highly secured zone of our organization where we can expect the server. So data center is also called as server room. So once we open the data center, you will found the cluster. So there will be different cluster based on the bifurcation of application or the server or the usage. So within a data center, you will find different clusters like cluster A, cluster B, cluster C. Within a cluster, you will find different server. So group of server is called as cluster. So within a server, there is a important part which is processor, and on top of processor, you will find core. So one processor might have multiple core and one server might have multiple processors. So that is the basic understanding about the data center, cluster, server, processor, and core. We are going to discuss this in more detail when it comes to the licensing. So now finally we are going to discuss here about the software security management. As I have already explained, if any publisher announces any software end of support, we have to stop using that software due to the security compliance risk. Also, we have to make sure that we are not going to use any software which is unauthorized, which has been downloaded from any third-party source, which is not verified by security and compliance team. So once we're done with that review and we found that software is good to install, there is no risk associated with that software, then and then only we can install that software in our infrastructure. So that security check is very important, which we have to do before installing any software. So that's the importance of security management. So guys, in this session, I have tried my best to explain multiple terminologies. At least I have given some basic understanding what these terms refers, and